Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
You are now listening to Take Two Podcast. All your latest TV and movie reviews, plus your Hollywood news, and of course, our Take Two. Here we go. Episode 184 of Take Two Podcast is coming at you right now, folks. I'm Brian, joined by my co-host Tony. What's up, brother?
What's going on? It's a early morning here, but it is 4:20, so if you partake, enjoy yourself on your quarantine inside your house today, and I guess you'll be safe because you won't be going anywhere. Enjoy.
Real talk, were you ever into the 420? I don't see you as a weed smoking type of guy.
I dabbled a little bit, but of course, 7 years before I got hired at my current job, so yes.
Yes.
Just for the record, for the record. But yes, I did. I wasn't like a huge, pothead stoner, but I did dabble a little bit.
Yeah, sure. I tried it one time in high school, trying to impress a girl. I did it wrong, because nothing happened. So I'm sure I inhaled whatever. I did it, what have you.
That's what she said.
But not like my high school buddies were all drinkers. Like everybody was, that
yeah,
mode.
same.
The athletes were all kind of drinkers and whatever.
Sure.
So that we just never. But like you said, if that's what you're into, have at it. Happy 420. That's when we're recording. You guys are listening to this after 420 though. So we hope you guys had a great day, a nice relaxing day yesterday. Today might be like the record-breaking 420 because everybody's legit stuck in home.
Well, and the whole month is technically 420. It's April of 2020, so it's been 420 all month, and we're all locked in our houses. So yeah, I'm sure the weed business is doing well.
We are Take Two Podcast. Thank you guys for subscribing and listening to our show. We have a lot of stuff to chat about today. It's kind of, actually, I don't want to say it's going to be a quick show. Every time we do that, we jinx ourselves. But newsworthy, there's not a ton. We do have a lot of reviews to chat with you guys about later on today. Check out our socials, follow along, interact each and every day with our Twitter and our Facebook and our Instagram and all that good stuff. And also, give us a call, 434-602-1931. We would love to hear from you folks. We have a big announcement that we're going to drop for you right now. We're going to try and help as much as we can here on Take Two Podcast in giving back. We have dabbled in things like this in the past, but now we're dead serious. You want to take over here and kind of give the parameters?
Well, yeah, I mean, we want to do something because of the crisis, because of the quarantine, and a lot of people are out of work or whatever. So we wanted to first start off by saying thank you to our patrons. And, of course, during this time, we understand if for some reason you need to pause your Patreon subscription or whatever with us, we understand. And we don't, if you need to change it up and whatever and take a break from us, we totally understand. Times are tight. But we also wanted to turn that around and give back. So what we want to do is set up a charity thing, Take Two Gives Back. So during this tough time, we're going to do our part by taking our Patreon earnings for the month of April, and we're going to donate all that to a local charity. And then we're also going to match that for any other new Patreon subscribers that sign up this month. I think that's the gist of it, correct?
You got it. Yeah, man.
Yeah. So, and we decided on the local charity of So Others Might Eat. So if you're local to the DC area, you may be familiar with their charity work, and it's just making sure that people who are, less privileged than us are able to eat during this tough time.
Not for nothing, folks, our Patreon always gives you a lot of exclusive bonus content. If any other way we can kind of nudge you towards, we're matching everything. Any new subscribers between now and probably about Mother's Day, we're going to wrap this little thing, which is about May 10th. So just under a month's time, any new subscribers that we get to our Patreon, whether it's $1 a month, $10 a month, whatever we get, Tony and I are just going to match that. Add that on to the base of what we're giving. Tony just mentioned again, the April base of what we make. That's all going to this charity. Whatever new subscribers we get, we're going to match what you have now just signed up for. And we're going to send that all their way come May once this is all wrapped up. Folks, if any of you want to just jump on board and just throw a little cash our way to then, to jump in, contact us. Hit us on the side, and we will help make that happen, and we can make just one giant donation from Take Two Podcast and all of our beautiful listeners, Patreon subscribers, and then some. So thank you very much. Once again, I just want to reiterate your thank you, Tony.
Yeah, and I think also we'll just put up the link. So, I mean, even if you don't want to sign up for our Patreon per se, or if you just want to make your own donation, outside of that, then please do, and we'll put that up and make that open for you guys. So yeah, just our way of trying to give back, and we wanted to reach out and be, I feel bad sometimes just out here advertising for ourselves and being like, sign up for our Patreon, and especially when people are having a rough time. So like I said, we get it. If you don't want to, partake right now, or just take a pause on your membership, or edit how much you're paying, all that stuff, we get it. But we wanted to do our part to inspire you and make it feel like your money's going somewhere good. So this month, that's what we're doing, and we hope it encouraged some other people to join up as well.
Take2podcast@gmail.com is the email, or hit us up on Twitter @Take2Podcast if you have any questions or what have you in regards to Take Two Gives Back. Now, speaking of Patreon, you've got episodes that are in your feed right now. We did a 3-part series on TV themes. You got the best of the 50s to the 70s. That's sitting right there in that Patreon feed, ready for you to listen to and enjoy. I will tell you folks, it's a little different style up for Tony and I. Like, we're fun. We're fun all the time. But like, but this one, it was funny, and it was a little off the beat, and we were kind of a little loose on it, and they're singing, there might have been dancing, what have you. So we hope you guys jump on to listen to that, and another one's coming soon.
I think that's just our Patreon vibe in general. Yeah. It's kind of a different show. So yeah, you're missing out if you're not part of it. And all the shows have been fun. I think even going back to the movies that made us, I thought that was kind of a fun special we did as well. And going forward, I think that's kind of going to be what we're doing. We're talking about some fun stuff with our Bond stuff we're going to talk about, and just some other kind of top 5e style episodes that we usually don't do on our main feed. So if you want to hear those, they're going to be Patreon exclusives for the time being.
Now, if you want to hear us be smart, that is called Take Two Spotlight, and that releases bi-weekly. That is our spin-off show, and this one just dropped in your feed 2 days ago, and it is on C. Mully, the Carey Mulligan. I will tell you guys, folks, there's a couple spotlights that we've done where I've needed to do an extra bit of homework, and this is just me. And by doing said homework, I've grown an appreciation for an actor whom I already liked. This is one of them. Doing my homework on Mulligan, it opened my eyes big time. You guys need to listen to this episode, and we're going to tell you why she is an amazing and very underrated actress in Hollywood today. That's in your feed right now. We hope you check out Spotlight.
Yeah. I think when I threw that one your way, you were kind of like, a little leery about it maybe, or didn't think that she was maybe just, deserving of it. But I'm glad that I was able to sway you, and I'm hoping that's part of what we do on Spotlight. Not every episode, but every once in a while we like to do that, kind of throw somebody out there who's maybe a little less known or a little more obscure, and get some people to maybe change their opinions and try out some new movies. So that's kind of our other feed that we do. We do a couple different shows through this feed, man. We're all over the place.
And if you guys didn't know it, Carey Mulligan's married to Marcus Mumford. He's in Mumford and
Here we go.
All right, here we go indeed. Let's get
Well, wait.
Oh, you've got
I was going to say one last thing, though. One last thing. We did have a little CW spring break. 2 weeks off of CW. Yeah, and we are back. We had a new episode drop this week. The boys covered the musical episode of Riverdale, which inspired some online chatter quite a bit. Yeah. And then also Nancy Drew had its series finale. So they were back talking about a couple of those shows, and I think this week we're going to get a couple new shows. So we will have the CW eps back at least for the next few weeks. Very sparingly, because CW is trying to spread out their schedule, and they don't have all their episodes produced that they wanted. But we're going to do what we can to keep covering those and bringing to you well.
You ready to roll?
Yeah, let's get into it.
And now, at guard, from North Carolina, at 6'6", Michael Jordan! Boop, 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 boop. I got to check out The Last Dance, folks. It started, if you guys weren't on social media, you then were the only ones to not see that Last Dance was on last night. I know my Twitter was loaded with Last Dance stuff from everyone watching.
Yeah, I'm jealous because I was already in bed. I was in bed. I did want to watch it. I did record it, but I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. So I'm interested to see your thoughts on it. I'm sure, of course, you had glowing review, and I look forward to watching it as well.
I will say that binging this may be more beneficial to you. Like, as it ended, I was like, I just want to knock these out. This is, of course, Last Dance. This is on ESPN. This is their 10-part series on the 1998 Chicago Bulls. If you wanted to call this the Michael Jordan movie, you can, because it is based through Jordan a lot, at least in episodes 1 and 2. But it is supposed to be about the 98 Bulls. This gets dark and gritty. I was hooked, man. Couldn't take my eyes off the screen. And there's a lot I know. Like, I die-hard Michael Jordan fan. He's the reason I wanted to and tried to go to the University of North Carolina. I'm a die-hard Carolina fan. And every bit of it, I was like eating it up. It opens up with him in Carolina. and going through college and get from high school to college and then his time there and deciding to then go pro. And I was like, I could get a 10-part series just on this. It was great. All the decisions that Dean Smith had to make to kick him out of school. And there's only 2 players ever, Dean Smith, greatest coach in college basketball history, ever told to leave. Jordan's one of them. And that was because he was too good. And he was like, listen, you've got to go. That's not in this. That's a side fact for me. The other one was Rasheed Wallace, and that's because Rasheed Wallace is a pain in the ass. Either way.
I have a Rasheed Wallace jersey in my closet.
Pistons?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great that you still have it.
It's a Rasheed Wallace throwback from the Pistons. It's pretty sweet.
No shit, that's awesome. Oh, we got to get a picture of that on Instagram. That'd be phenomenal.
Sorry for that side note. Go ahead.
Not at all. So here's my review of the actual doc. It is like it's diving deep. And Jordan came out the other day and he said, "Listen, folks, you might not like me as much after seeing this. Like this is the side of me that is not nice, but it's showing how hard he had to work and how much he went through getting this team built. It also shits on Jerry Krause a lot." And like a couple of guys try and do their best to make Krause look okay. He was like, well, you got to give him credit. He did build these teams, but the dude was just a smarmy dude. And throughout it, it's like he screwed Scottie Pippen out of money, and they start talking about that. They screwed other guys out of contracts. And at one point, he was ready to just blow the whole thing up. He was like, nah, time to rebuild after just their 5th title. And that's what a lot of this is based on. They thought that they were done after the 5th title, and then they're like, no, we're going to come back, screw them. He, he hated Phil Jackson. He tried to get Phil Jackson out. And then Jordan's the one that said, listen, if Phil's not here next year, I'm not here next year. So then they signed Phil Jackson, one of the greatest coaches of all time, to a 1-year deal and announced at the presser this will be his final season. Now, everyone knows that Phil Jackson went on to coach the Lakers and win more championships. It makes Krause look horrible. All right, I don't want to give too much away. It's good, man. I think you're going to enjoy it. It just has like a gritty feel and like a behind-the-scenes feel. And they granted... for some reason, it doesn't say why, for some reason they granted a camera crew to follow them through their entire 98 season. I'm assuming it's because they knew Jordan and Jackson would be done at that point, so they let them dock it. But there's some really good behind-the-scenes stuff in here, and I'm really looking for it. 4 more Sundays, 10 episodes total. They're all an hour each. I promise you'll probably get hooked. My vote, buddy, and anybody listening, if you haven't watched yet, wait till like Friday or Saturday.
So that way I can just roll
to
into
then
the
watch
next
it.
two.
So that way you just like, yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Last Dance.
I'm
ESPN.
jealous of you. I was kind of inspired to like get up and go stay up and watch it, but I was, getting the little kids to bed and all that stuff, and I knew I'd just get around to it later this week. But I'm glad you had a chance, and it is so interesting to me that they had this documentary like from 20 years ago. Like, why has this never been out?
Yeah, big time.
Like, I don't understand that. So very weird.
Looking
forward to it. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying before is the interviews like Jordan, Pippen. Mainstream guy, like usually you get these docs and they don't get some of the big players, you know what I mean? And I mean players as in pawns in the game. Like they don't get the big people involved in these things that happen. Nah, all the big ones are there. Krause, they interview all the big names. And I think that's what's really going to hook people because you're going to get the honest take from all these folks. Pippen has a whole, episode 2 is almost all about Pippen, but then they filter right back to Jordan and then their relationship and whatever. It's good stuff. I think you'll like it.
So do they mix it in with like modern interviews with these people as well? Or is it all just from the 98?
No, it's now. The other interviews are now.
Oh, okay. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And
that makes it even more
it's Jordan looking. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's why I think people are going to like it because it's Jordan saying, yeah, Scotty and I were tight. But then when the contract stuff happened and he held out, he's my greatest teammate I've ever had. That's it. Like, Jordan don't hold back like he never did, And even Pippen says, I hated Jerry Krause, and I was immature, and I started being a jerk on purpose to Jerry Krause, and that's why I left the Bulls. And, they're real with it. It's good. I'm really looking forward to next Sunday.
Awesome. All right, cool.
All right, Sarah, let's go back and forth. I volley over to you because you got to watch a few things.
Yeah, so this is your weekly Quibi check-in, I guess. This is going to be my Quibi Corner, if you want to call it that. But for the next couple weeks, I just kind of, I'm doing the free trial, the 90-day free trial. We talked about it a little bit last week, and I'm just going to stick with it. While I'm getting the free trial, I'm going to try out a lot of shows and just see what they have to offer, and I'll report back to you guys. So last week I gave you 3. This week I've got 4, actually. The first one I'll start off with is a little... I don't know. There's actually 2 of them that I'm kind of on the fence about completely. One of them is called Murder House Flip. Now, this is a reality TV, kind of HGTV style show mixed with like a true crime element. And, the Quibi format is split up to like 10-minute or less, kind of things. So what they've done is they've split the stories that they're going to follow into like 3-parters. So basically it's like a half hour of TV based on one story, but they split it up into 3 Quibis or whatever they want to call them, little bits, little chapters. So they find a house where a horrific murder happened and a family currently lives in the house, and they go there and they do a little bit of a remodel, based on what happened in the house. So I watched the first one. The first one, like I said, was a 3-part story, and it was this family where this horrific murders had happened and 7 bodies had been buried in their yard. So these people, in HGTV style fashion, these 2 experts go in and they redo the area and make it like a nice new area for them to enjoy and like their house and enjoy it again. It's kind of a weird mix, and it's not necessarily my kind of thing that I would watch, something like that, the HGTV stuff, but the true crime element kind of brought me in. So I was interested to like hear those little stories, and that kind of made me want to stick with it. I don't know if I'll go back and watch all of them, but I just wanted to try out that first story and see how they were playing it. And it was kind of an interesting idea to me. You know what I mean?
So, all right. So people were murdered. I'm just like playing out like the real estate angle. Like
sure.
If a realtor's like, then try and bring it. If you'll see here, we have an open floor plan, lots of lighting. This hallway here is good for hiding. Just saying, in case that's hilarious. Like, is it played straight, or is it played comedy spoofy?
No, I mean, it's played like watching one of those HGTV shows, like your Flippers or whatever.
Shit.
Yeah, it's just played like that. So they go in, and like I said, this one episode, for example, that I watched, they're talking about these 7 bodies that were buried in the yard. So they're like, the one, they said, oh, over here there was a torso found, but they never found the hands or the legs or the feet or whatever, or the head. And they're like, wait a minute, so if we like dig this up and start doing stuff, like are we at risk for finding stuff? Like, that that would have been crazy to catch that on camera. So it was, like I said, it was an
Fido comes back with more than a bone.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So it was just an interesting mix of a couple different genres. I don't know if it worked 100%, like where I'm sold and I gotta watch more. I felt okay. Like, let me just see this 3-parter through, and I was good and moved on. But it was interesting. Whatever.
Okay.
All right. Another one I watched, I was kind of on the fence about. Well, it was called 50 States of Fright. Now, I like this in concept because what it is they're bringing on different directors, writers, whatever, from a certain area of the country, and they're giving them a 3-part, again, series of a story, a horror story based in there, like where they're from. So the first one is Sam Raimi. So Sam Raimi did a 3-parter, writing and directing, all about a Michigan story. So, again, I was all in on that, too, because I like Raimi. I lived in Michigan for a while, so I was like, this is cool. Let me check this out. Rachel Brosnahan stars in the first one, and it's called Golden Arm.
Hey.
Yeah, and like I said, it's split up over 3 parts, so it's basically like a half-hour-long story, maybe a little less. And I didn't love it. It was interesting take on the series overall to do this. I just didn't love this story that much. It did have some Raimi touches, some nice homage to like stuff like Evil Dead, and it had some nice kind of gory moments, a couple little jump scares maybe, whatever, but overall it was kind of cheesy and weird. But if you're into horror and this is your kind of thing, check it out. And I just like the idea of the kind of localized element to it. I thought that was a cool twist. So 50 States of Fright, I may have to kind of pick and choose which ones I watch, because I know the next ones were like Kansas or whatever, so they're going to do like each state and give them a 3-episode arc, and I think they're trying to get somebody local to do the story as well, which is fun. I thought it was a fun idea. So
all right. Well, that part's cool.
Yeah. So then, sticking with the kind of horror angle of Quibi, The Stranger was the new release this week for Quibi. So that just dropped last week. And I watched the first 3 episodes of this. I think there's 7 episodes available right now. But I watched the first 3. That's all I had time for. But if you've seen the trailer for it, it's Dane DeHaan. And Maika Monroe is the girl. She was in like It Follows, Honey Boy. You probably know her if you saw her. She's kind of become a little bit of a scream queen. She's been in a couple like horror movies like that. But The Stranger is just this Uber driver. She plays the Uber driver, Maika Monroe. She picks up a fare, and as she's driving him to the airport, he starts to tell her, oh, I don't know, that wasn't my house. I didn't know who lived there. Like, I was there. They rang the doorbell. I murdered them. And now you've picked me up, and in my bag is the body. So a really cool kind of concept, I thought, for maybe even a higher concept like film overall. And like I talked last week, I think some of these Quibis are filmed that way. I think they're filmed as a film overall, because you've got maybe 10 or 12 bits in 10 minutes or less. It's basically a 2-hour movie, but they split it up into 10-minute chapters. So this one worked pretty well for me, because from the trailer, the premise, I thought they were going to spend more time in the car, and it was just going to be the car and just tension in the car between the two of them. But that's only one episode. Like the car part is just one episode. We're done. We move on. And it was interesting to see where they're going to take this story to. And I think within the first 6 minutes, I was kind of hooked in. Like, it had some good tension. I thought Dane DeHaan was really creepy, sold it. So kind of cool. I'm going to stick with The Stranger, and maybe once it's all done, I'll report back and give you my final thoughts on it, because I thought it was a cool concept.
Okay, cool.
And then the last thing I watched on here was Memory Hole. And this is a pop culture history style show hosted by Will Arnett. And they did 7 episodes of this. And he is Canadian, so there's a little bit of like a more Canadian kind of feel to this. So maybe Shy, if you're listening, you would probably enjoy this. But it was really funny. It reminded me of something like a Drunk History, or maybe a pop-up video style, like, or I Love the 80s, 90s, those kind of shows where they brought up like kind of obscure pop culture references. And just Will Arnett's hilarious anyway, so I loved his take on it. And there were a couple of these episodes I was laughing out loud at, like absolutely hysterical. They're only like 5 to 10 minutes, but I just thought they were really funny. And they just bring up, like I said, obscure things. There was a Justin Bateman like PSA that he went over, like almost like an after school special that he did with his sister. And they brought that up and showed it and kind of made fun of it. And then Justin Bateman comes on and like talks about it again. They did a thing about the opening of the Sky Dome in Toronto and how there was like this huge celebration concert thing with Alan Thicke and all this stuff, and they show a bunch of footage from it. So it was really funny. A couple of them I got a really good chuckle out of. The only thing I will say is they are getting sued over it now, because apparently there was already kind of like a YouTube channel that was doing this, and I were actually called well. So now Quibi's in a little bit of trouble. They're saying it might be plagiarism. Which I thought was hilarious, because it really worked. It really worked for me, but that sucks if they're plagiarizing. So it's called Everything is Terrible. They were a YouTube channel since 2014, and they've done posts called Memory Hole.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
So I don't know. That kind of that was a little bit of a downer for me, but overall I thought it was fun. Like I said, I love Will Arnett. We actually watched the Lego Masters finale was this week too, if you haven't been watching that, and he was great as a host on that. So yeah, it's definitely worth your time. 7 short little eps, Memory Hole, kind of fun. So
cool. Okay,
that's my Quibi my Quibi Corner for the week. I do have like 3 other shows I want to get into, so maybe next week I can report back on those.
Okay, we need music for your Quibi.
Yeah, well, hopefully after next week, maybe I'm done. I don't know.
True.
I don't know if I'm reaching the end of it. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff on there that just doesn't interest me, and I'm still not sold 100% on. Oh yeah, I'd pay to keep this service around. Like, I'm liking the free trial, but
sure,
I don't know if I'd pay to keep it around. They still haven't sold me that far. So, but yeah, I did read an article that said Quibi still has. I think. Well, I was going to keep this for my news, but I might as well put it in here that they have original programming slated through. They have enough stuff produced where they plan on just doing this slow rollout. So good on them. You know, something we complained about with like a Disney Plus or whatever, where they didn't have a lot of original content. At least Quibi kind of has already done it. And then also they reported they had 1.7 million downloads in the first week, which was pretty good. I think they were estimating 1 to 1.5 was what I read. I mean, obviously they're not going to get the 10 million, you know, that Disney got or whatever, but about 1.5 to 2 is not a bad number for them. I know the first day they were kind of down, because I thought I read 300,000 downloads for the first day only, so that's a little low. But it has picked up a little bit of steam, and they said that they are working on like a TV casting, because they didn't entail the quarantine and people being stuck at home and all that. So they think maybe that's part of it, is people don't want to watch on their phone because they're home anyways, you know. So they're trying to find a way where maybe they can do like a Google Cast or whatever. Like I do that sometimes if I'm watching YouTube on my phone, I can throw it up on the TV. So they're trying to work on a patch for that, where you could do that with Quibi and cast it to your TV. So
beep boop beep boop boop beep boop beep.
There you go.
I got your song.
There you go. Perfect. But that's my Quibi Corner.
Very cool.
Moving along. Tell me about your stand-up comedy obsession. This is the Cat's Corner, I think. He'll love to hear this, so go ahead.
All right, so Chris D'Elia had a new one on Netflix, and I'll be honest, not the biggest fan of his in the past. He's had some good things, but I just none of his specials. I think I've watched bits and pieces of some of his stuff before, and I'm like, But in the essence of sitting at home and having extra time, I thought, you know what? Let me give the guy an extra chance. I liken him to if I was a stand-up comedian. Like, I could come up with like, I'm serious, like I could come up with like 1 or 2 good lines, but I would have to also fill some time with some antics and like some weird talking voices on stage, and like that would get me through the set type deal. But he's good at what he does, man. He's good. This was funny. I'm eating some crow here because he was good. It was funny. He had some good bits. It started off decent, kind of meandered, and then towards the end, actually picked right back up again. And I found myself legit laughing out loud. So I'm recommending that Chris D'Elia, and I got to eat a little crow here from my previous thoughts on the guy. I actually kind of enjoyed it. And since everyone's sitting at home anyway, I recommend it. It's on Netflix right now.
Nice. Yeah, I wanted to check this one out. Just didn't get around to it this week, but I've never watched any of his stand-up. I've seen him just do like stuff online, like small clips, YouTube kind of viral stuff or whatever, or maybe podcast appearances or something like that. So I've found him funny in those small bits, but I've never committed to watch a whole stand-up. So maybe I'll have to check it out.
Oh, cool. I'll be intrigued to hear your thoughts. The other one I checked out was Neil Brennan. This was trending on Twitter, and you nailed it on the head off air as to why. It's probably because just Chappelle's show was so hot, and then people were going down a rabbit hole there, and so it was trending. I didn't realize his stand-up was actually from 2017. This is the 3 mics set that he did. This one, though, I do want to mention, because if you guys haven't watched it, he did 3 different microphones, and at each mic he went into like a different mode. One was stand-up, the other was emotional topics, and then the other one was like one-liners. So the stand-up, whatever, he did his stand-up routine. He's funny. I enjoy Neil Brennan. He's a very smart writer, and it was good. Then the middle mic was like he did emotional talk, where he just got dark and deep and talked about like his dad dying and if he was going to put him in his will and stuff like that. And it was weird because you kept waiting for like a punchline or him to like circle back and make it funny. Nah, it was legit like a therapeutic session for him, where he was just kind of like venting and telling people about his life and his depression and stuff. So it was off-putting at first, but then it was kind of like, man, this guy's just being very real right now and open. And by the end, I was appreciating it. It's fully made up for then if you want just the comedy with the one-liners. He legit pulls out note cards, like flashcards, and then just one at a time reads off just a one-liner. And each one of them is funny. You'll laugh a little bit at each one. So granted, this thing came out in 2017, 3 mics, Neil Brennan. If you haven't seen it, like I hadn't in 3 years, go check that out as well.
Okay, cool. Nice.
That's it. That was all the stuff I did. I was too hyped up for Last Dance, so that was the only thing I could watch last week. But you are going to make up for that right now and throw a couple of stuffs at us.
Couple of stuffs, yeah. You saved your whole nut for Sunday. I wasted mine throughout the week. I like to spread it around, spread my seeds evenly. So, all right. So last week, if you remember, going forward was a little busy. There was a lot of stuff kind of coming out, new stuff, whatever. So I had 2 shows that I've already been fans of that came back around. So those are Killing Eve. Killing Eve started its 3rd season. You can find it on AMC and BBC America, I believe. So that's interesting. But it's going to be 8 eps. I always love their format. It's kind of a quick, short seasons. Fantastic show. It's in its 3rd season. Jodie Comer. She is amazing. I love her. I wish she was in more things. I can't wait until we get like one big project with her. Stateside, where she'll really break free, maybe be a film star, because I think she has it. I think she's really special, and I want her to be bigger than she is, and I want more people to know about her. So she's amazing. She's like a fashion icon in the show. She is devious and scary in parts. She is funny in parts. Her performance is amazing. I love the show because of her, as well as Sandra Oh. Sandra Oh gives probably her best work I've ever seen her do in her career. So just those 2 together. It's a slick show. It's got smart writing, has a nice like soundtrack and score to it. And like I said, it just has funny moments. It has brutal moments, things like that. The first episode, I will give you a minor spoiler. There is kind of a side character death. So, sort of a main character of the show dies. So I was kind of surprised by that. And I mean, they kind of left you hanging between season 2 and 3. So obviously a major character also returned. That was the one kind of fail of their marketing for season 3, is you kind of knew one of the characters survived that you thought may have died. So, but yeah, otherwise, really good show. I love it. It's based on some books. I've even almost been inspired to maybe check out the books, because I've heard they're quite different from the show. But it's great, man. I love it. I'm so glad Killing Eve is back. So I'll check back in 2 weeks once it's done and give you an overall review of the season.
And we will have a Take-Two spotlight on Jodie Comer now.
Oh, I wish she doesn't have. She hasn't done enough though. That's the thing. She's going to be in Last Duel, that Ridley Scott thing with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. So
cool.
yes, I'm hoping maybe that'll be like her breakout. You know, because she was in Rise of Skywalker, but they gave her nothing to say, and I was like, damn it, like. Because she was Rey's mom, and I'm like, oh, that would have been cool to like have her be, why use such a good actress for nothing? So, All right, and then the other show that returned this week that I love and have highly endorsed is What We Do in the Shadows. Big fan of the movie going back a few years ago. Also the show. This is now its second season. They dropped the first 2 episodes on the first night. I believe it's going to be a 10-episode season again. I'm pretty sure they were done with production on that. This show is hysterical, man. It's just 4 different vampires living in modern America, but they act like they're still in from like the 1700s or whatever. It's very much like they have like period costume and things like that, but they're living in modern New York, and they have a assistant that lives with them as well. There's been a little bit of a twist to his storyline between season 1 and 2, which is kind of fun. I won't give that away. The first episode, we already had a couple big name guests. Haley Joel Osment and Benedict Wong were both on here. Haley Joel Osment plays basically like a zombie character, and then Benedict Wong is like magician or whatever, similar to his Doctor Strange role, I guess. But yeah, I love the show. The second episode dealt with ghosts, and I gotta say the effects were really good. I was surprised for such a small, half-hour comedy. They spend the money and make the effects look good, and it's cool. But it's very much mockumentary humor. If you're a fan of stuff like The Office, it appeals to that because they do the little aside, interview moves. And it's very much something like The Office, so it's just like the supernatural version of The Office to me, and I love it. Matthew Berry, one of the stars, I am such a fan of Matthew Berry. I love just hearing his voice even. He is great, and he was on a great show called The IT Crowd back in the day. That was a British TV show. If you've never seen that, it's so funny, and he's great on there. I just love it. I love it. I think they've changed some things from the movie, but it's been for the better, in my opinion, so far, and it's made it really interesting. There's a interesting take on a character where there's an energy vampire, and it's just like this really boring guy who talks people to death, and that's how he gets his powers, is like sucking the energy out of others by boring them. And I just love that. Like, they show him in like office settings, like in cubicles and talking to his coworkers, and that's how he gains his energy. I think it's hilarious. So yeah, just a great, smartly written show, and good stuff so far. They're supposed to have Mark Hamill on this season 2. I can't wait to see what they do with him. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
how many? How many eps?
Oh, go ahead.
Season 1. How many eps do you remember?
I think it was 10 as well. I think it's supposed to be like a 10-episode format going forward. So they're 20 something minutes. You could really catch up really easy on the first season and jump back in.
Sold. Done. Okay.
Yeah. So I think it's on the FX, app or whatever, or Hulu, because through there, FX is all on Hulu too. So wherever you can watch it, please do catch up. It's worth it.
Gotcha.
All right. So speaking of Hulu, I tried out 3 new things this week. One of them was on Hulu, and this is Mrs. America, which I haven't checked, but I think it's exclusive on Hulu. It's a FX product, but I think they're putting it only on Hulu. Like they're doing this whole thing with FX on Hulu, like it's an exclusive thing. So this is going to be 9 episodes. It's a mini-series, and this is based on the Equal Rights Amendment movement of the 70s and like the feminist movement and all that. The only real reason I wanted to jump into it is because of all the people on it. Cate Blanchett, Uzo Aduba, Sarah Paulson, Rose Byrne, Elizabeth Banks. It's got a ridiculous cast, so I was just sold on that alone. Gotcha. I only had time to watch the first episode. They dropped 3 right off the bat just to get you going. I only had time to watch 1, but it is directed and produced by the Bowden and Fleck team, who did like Captain Marvel and Half Nelson, so I like their work as well. It's an interesting show. It's very political, so I don't know how much I love it or am like sold. I have to watch every episode so far, but I think I am going to stick with it and keep checking in on it, and maybe I'll like it. It's got a great soundtrack too, because they take a lot of music from the time and play it, classic rock stuff. Cool. James Marsden was in here as well. I don't know if he's like part of the ongoing cast or maybe it was just a one-ep thing. John Slattery as well. So, like I said, just a great overall cast. Yeah. So check it out. It was okay. The first episode wasn't bad. I need to watch more of it before I give it like a huge thumbs up. But
I'm glad you said that because I saw a couple promos for it and I was interested. So you might have sold me. I'll jump on it this week.
All right. And then I moved over to HBO and I watched 2 of their new offerings. The first one being Atlanta's Missing and Murdered Children, the Lost Children of Atlanta. Now this if this sounds familiar, I spoke about a podcast a few months ago, maybe last year, called Atlanta Monster, where they talked about the Atlanta child murders. And this was also one of the featured stories in the second season of Mindhunter as well, where they talked, to the guy in the show that was supposed to be the Atlanta child murderer. So it's kind of been one of those stories that's been brought back up into the zeitgeist the last year or so. The mayor of Atlanta actually reopened the case in 2019, so I think that's why there's been so much kind of recovery and like people's interest in it, because basically this guy, whoever it is, killed 29 kids between 79 and 89 in the Atlanta area, and they pinned it all on one guy. They arrested this one guy. They were able to tie him to maybe one of the cases, and then they're like, all right, that's it. He did all of them, and they kind of just swept it under the rug and kind of pigeonholed or scapegoated this one guy, Wayne Williams. And a lot of people, even in this documentary, I only was able to watch the first episode so far, but the documentary, a lot of the people, even the families of the victims, are like, no, we don't believe it. We've never believed that this was the guy. We've never believed that this has been solved. So they're still wanting, justice and answers for what happened to their missing children. And, it's a 40-year-old case, but it's still very fresh and raw to these people and tragic. You see them doing their interviews, and they're still really moved to tears. And I think it's because they just don't have the answers, that they want. So I like it so far. I'm going to stick with it just because I have interest in the case. I was interested to see that this has some of the production crew, was like John Legend was mentioned, and I want to say Jay-Z's like rock films or whatever, like something is involved there. So interesting production, people behind it. And I think it's supposed to be only 5 parts. So I'm going to commit to it and check it out. It's cool. It's like a mix of archive footage and interviews and stuff, a decent doc so far though. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Like I said, I think just the time that it takes place and the place that it takes place, Atlanta was kind of like the big African American city of this time, and a lot of successful, African Americans. And then, but there's also that kind of other side where there's the poor and whatever, and so there's a lot of that going in, like racial differences and class differences. And then there was also still activity from the Klan and stuff like that in that time in that area. So there were a lot of theories about maybe the Klan was involved in these kids going missing and getting murdered. And then they just tie it into like slavery too, and the thoughts of slavery that are still fresh, and having black children being taken like that, getting into and getting into the story, and I'm looking forward to where it goes for the next couple episodes. So, staying with HBO, I also watched Run. Only the first episode. The second episode dropped last night, so again I didn't have a chance to watch it, but I gotta say, man, I really liked Run. I was interested by the trailer. This is with Domhnall Gleeson and Merritt Wever. I like Merritt Wever going back to like Studio 60 days. I loved her in that show. That show got canceled really quick, but she was great in it. And then Domhnall Gleeson, I love him. Huck's, the couple other things he's been in. So I like the people involved. And then once I read up on it, Phoebe Waller-Bridge was involved as well in producing. So I like her. This show was fun, man. It's only going to be 7 episodes. They're 30-minute episodes. So I'm going to stick with it. It's basically this couple meets on a train, and we find out that they have a past, and we don't really know what's going on, at least based on the first episode. So it's a little mysterious, but it's very funny. It also has a very sexy quality to it. It's charming and sexy, I think. I think the characters have a lot of good vibes between them, chemistry between them. The writing is very sharp. There's a couple interesting bathroom scenes, I will say, the first episode, so that was kind of fun. It's a good show, man. Good show. Just based on the one episode, I am hooked. You got Rich Sommer, who played like Harry Crane on Mad Men. He's also in here supporting. Archie Punjabi is also supporting, and based on the trailer, Phoebe Waller-Bridge is also going to pop up as a supporting character later in the season. So I'm looking forward to finding out the mystery of it. But I love the characters together. I think they work well together. Gotcha. So I'm sold. Check it out.
Nice. Okie doke.
But that is all I was able to watch as far as my new batches.
Cool, man. Well, that's going to wrap up our reviews for this episode 184. We're going to take a quick break and moving on to the next thing.
They have no use for your song. You're dead, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead and out of this world. You'll never get a second chance. Plan all your moves in advance. Stay dead, stay dead, stay dead, stay dead and out of this world. Run fast, don't stand in the sun. There's too much work to be done. You're down, you're down, you're down, you're down and out of this world.
Did you, sir, catch any of the One World performance thing Saturday night, the live streaming thing, all the different artists?
I did. The Lady Gaga one, yeah.
Yeah.
It was weird. Somebody told me, oh, was it 8 hours long? And I was like, what? And I saw that they had a thing online at like 2 o'clock. So it was going on for like 6 hours before the TV thing, which I don't know if there was other like performances and stuff that I missed in that part. I'm not sure. I only watched the part that was on TV. It was fine. Whatever.
Yeah, but I was catching it sparingly. We kind of had it on the background, having a little family game night type deal. And my daughter's a big Taylor Swift fan, so she was hyped up to watch that. And I actually thought Taylor did a good job. Hers was nice, just the piano and playing that one song that she wrote for her mom about cancer. Sorry, I forget the name of the song. I thought overall it was fine. The one weird part was the legend, John Legend and Andrea Bocelli, and that combo song that they all did, Celine Dion. For the final note, where all 5 of them sing at the same time just to end the song or whatever, it went to a 4-square grid. And Legend wasn't in the thing. I was like, wait a second. But why did they blank out?
Yeah.
I was like, somebody hit the wrong button there.
I think they had some technical difficulties throughout the night, because even the Rolling Stones one, I don't know if you caught that. That one was a little off too. I felt like Keith Richards was almost, his sounded like behind. If you just have one person kind of messing up like that, like, I don't know, it just didn't.
Sure.
And then even, I think, Billie Eilish, like, the audio on it wasn't great. Like, I thought her performance was decent, but the audio wasn't great. I don't know. Overall, it was decent. Some of the other segments, like, in between weren't as great to me. I was like, let me just get to the performances. I know that may sound rude, like, but I don't need to sit and listen to all this mumbo jumbo. I just wanted to see the performances. So, whatever. I actually really like Casey Musgraves, I think, the best. I like that Rainbow song that she sang. I thought hers was pretty good.
Nice.
I don't know if you saw that, but
yeah.
Eddie Vedder, my wife was like, no, this is horrible. Let's fast forward it.
Uh-oh. Yikes.
Yeah. Was it Brad Paisley did a thing? Or no, not Brad Paisley. Who's Mr. Nicole Kidman? What's his name?
Oh, Keith Urban.
Keith Urban. He did like a thing where it was 3 of him. Did you see that?
No, I missed. I didn't even realize it was on it.
Like, yeah, it was kind of funny. Like, he did like 3 segments of his performance, and then they kind of put them all together. Like, it looked like he was one band.
Okay.
But he played like different guitars and whatever, you know.
Gotcha.
So that was kind of fun. Overall, it was decent. Whatever. Did you get a chance to watch the Disney sing-along last week?
Did I? Yeah.
Yeah, man.
We checked it out. I thought it was solid. I of course, I did that grumpy thing where I was just like, now I want these songs to be, some of our songs from when we were younger. But yeah, I thought it was really good.
My biggest complaint about it was the people that came on, in most cases, didn't sing their song that they're known for.
Right.
Like, why bring Christina Aguilera on and you're not going to let her do Reflection? Like, come on.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So,
yeah.
But otherwise, it was fun, and the kids had a blast with it. I think it was a lot of fun. So I actually hope that they do another one of those or do more of that down the road.
Yeah.
I think the coolest one that stuck out for me, for some reason, was the Donny Osmond one, where he did I'll Make a Man Out of You, and he had all of his grandkids. It looked like Brady Bunch style, like all the Zoom squares around him, and it was all his grandkids, and they were kind of popping in and helping sing. I thought that was fun.
The Brady Bunch, or the OG Zoom squares.
There you go.
Speaking of Disney, that just reminded me, I watched Hercules for the first time ever.
Oh, okay.
I'd never seen it. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Really? I thought it was okay. I thought James Woods as Hades was funny. I thought he did a good job.
See, my standout is Danny DeVito. Oh, you want to be a hero, kid? Well, whoop-de-doo. Yeah, I like him the best. It's funny because I think that movie just hit at the time where we were like teens, like late teens, so that wasn't like a cartoon for us.
Right.
Sure. Because I remember I actually went to Disney World when I was 18, and that was like the big movie that was like still in the parades and stuff was Hercules, and I was like, what the hell? Like, nobody wants to see this. What is this? Yeah. But whatever. It's okay. I just don't love it as much as I think it's a different generation that loves that movie.
Sure. Let's talk about some movies that are going to be coming up soon with our trailer talk.
So I was wondering, what movies are coming out soon? Oh, look, a new trailer. Talking trailers with Trailer Talk.
Yeah. I think the big one was Capone. I saw a lot of people sharing this. Everybody's excited for Tom Hardy's Capone. What did you think?
What stood out to me was this is why I love Tom Hardy. He has no problem diving deep into a role as a lead actor to totally go into makeup and costuming and prosthetics and totally transform his figure to go into a character. And I will forever love Tom Hardy as an actor for that. He does not mind committing to a role in that avenue. I don't know. Not a lot of the trailer. Nothing about the trailer jumped out where I was like, yes, let me watch this.
Agreed. Agreed big time.
Okay.
For as much as people were sharing this, I was going into it thinking, oh man, this is going to be great. I can't wait, right? No,
Sure.
I'm not excited for this at all, to be honest. I like Tom Hardy, but I think some of the makeup stuff really iffy too. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It looks like it may be okay, but I'm interested by the different story, this aspect of Capone that maybe we don't know and haven't seen on film, of him having the dementia and all that kind of stuff. So that could be interesting. But it just, like, are we taking off on Scarface at the end? Like, what are we doing? Come on. Like, it just seemed like an easy grab, And I was interested when I watched the trailer. It said Redbox Productions at the beginning. So is this going to be like a Redbox exclusive movie? Because it said May 12th. And I'm like, obviously you're not putting it in theaters. So I'm guessing it's just going to be streaming or maybe on Redbox. Which, if you remember right, I think the last movie that did that was like a huge bomb. So
Interesting.
We will see. We will see what happens with Mr. Hardy's Capone project. Because I think we were intrigued when they first announced it.
Sure.
Based on what I saw, I'm kind of out on this one.
Yeah, no kidding. All right. We'll have to look into that, folks, on exactly where that's being dropped. We'll let you know on episode 185 or on our socials. Throw another trailer at me that you got to watch there, pal.
Well, I threw you the one, Perry Mason is coming to HBO, and this is like a remake thing. I thought this looked kind of fun. I like Matthew Rhys from The Americans. I was a big fan of him there. And then he was just in, what's it called? Won't You Be My Neighbor? I think he's a really good, capable actor. I think he's one of those actors, this may sound rude, but I think he's one of those actors that's held back by not being like a super attractive man.
Yeah.
Like I think he is a really good actor. He just doesn't get those roles, I think, because he's not like a super attractive guy. I think that's the big problem. Yeah. But I really like him in those couple other projects I mentioned. So this looks kind of cool. Very much like period piece LA.
Yeah, 30.
What did you think?
1930s LA timeline. No, I'm in. This looked really good, and I believe it's only like 8 episodes too.
Okay, cool. I didn't realize Robert Downey Jr. was part of the production company on this. Like, this is their production company deal with HBO.
Really?
So, yeah, cool on them.
Okay.
I also like Tatiana Maslany, the girl that's in it. She was big in Orphan Black on Sci-Fi a few years ago. And she's one of those actresses, too, that just hasn't really broken big, and I kind of want her to. Like, she was in... What's the Boston bombing movie that we watched with the guy with the
Gyllenhaal?
legs? Yeah. She was in that. I can't remember the name of it, but she was in there. Yeah,
Stronger.
Yes.
Okay.
So I like her, and I wanted her to do more. And of course, Shea Wiggum's in here too.
Yeah,
and we always like him. Whenever he pops up. Yeah. So yeah, that looked all right. And then the other thing we got into was Peacock. Peacock dropped a bunch of trailers this week for stuff that's going to be coming. They dropped their whole service, I think, this week.
Yeah.
But only exclusive to, was it Comcast, I think, is only able to get it until like July.
That sounds
right.
right.
If you're a Comcast subscriber, you can get Peacock now. But the big one for you was Saved by the Bell. I saw you shared that online. What did you think of that one?
Yeah, I'm in. It got a lot of hate. I was like, uh-oh, did I miss something here? I don't know. I thought it looked modernized. I'm curious what they're doing with Slater's character there. It looks like they're going the... peaked in high school as the, jock and captain of the football team, but now he's just the gym teacher type route or what have you. And then it didn't solidify that he and Jesse were together because he makes a joke at the end about just banging some other girl.
The moms.
And he's like, oh, wait, that happens to be your mom, whatever. And I guess referencing, Kelly and Jesse. So I thought it looked fun. I'm definitely going to try and check it out. I definitely want to watch it. I was just missing why so many people were like, nope, this looks horrid.
I'm on the fence about it because I'm kind of in the middle because I don't know if I love like the updated kids cast, and I'm sure that that's going to be the focus of the show. So I don't know if that makes me want to watch it. I feel like the old characters is going to be used sparingly. So it's going to be nice. It's going to give you that nostalgia to see those characters, but I think the focus is going to be the new kids. So I don't know. I mean,
the new class.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, the new class was never as huge, so we'll see how this works out. But yeah, Slater sold the trailer. I mean, he was the funniest part of it. Like you said, the your mom thing was pretty funny. So, yeah, I'm kind of a middle ground right now. We'll wait and see. How come they didn't show us any Mark Paul Gosselaar, man?
I wonder. And I wonder if they're like saving that for like a big reveal type deal. I mean, they definitely reference that it's Zach's kid. And he's supposed to be the governor or whatever, so maybe that's why. But you could have shown us a little something. I think I will be disappointed. Like, we heard that Lark Voorhees came out and said she was disappointed to not get asked. And then there's something else with Tiffany Thiessen. Why? Why are we not bringing everybody back in some capacity, or at least just to sneak in every now and then?
Yeah. We'll have to see what happens, and I'm not sure how many episodes it's going to be or whatever, or what the plans are. Like, if they keep it going, if they want to keep this a new show going with new kids, we'll see. What did you think about the Punky Brewster?
I felt like Soleil Moon Frye like never grew out of that role. It felt like she was like, yes, I get to be Punky finally back in real life. And like maybe her agent was like, well, you've always acted that way. So now we're just going to, like, it opens up with like, oh, you're wearing 2 different shoes, Mom. And she's like, well, I've always done that, in her Punky Brewstery voice.
Yeah.
This one was a miss.
Nah. Yeah, I'm with you. I was never a huge Punky fan when I was a kid. I remember watching it a little bit, but I wasn't like super into it. Yeah. But Soleil Moon Frye, well, she's a cute kid, and I think she still looks great. She looks great, but the trailer just it's too cheesy, like too many cheesy references and like the canned laughter, like I just can't do like the laugh track stuff like that. It's just not my kind of show anymore. Kind of weird to have what's his name show up. What's his name? Why can't I think of the guy?
Freddie Prinze?
Freddie Prinze, yeah. So is he going to be in it all the time? Or, I don't know. That was interesting. The new character, I guess they're going to introduce, yeah. But yeah, total miss for me. I don't think I'm excited for that one. What did you think about Intelligence?
This looked intriguing. Which one was Intelligence? I watched them back to back. This was this was Ross, right? Yeah,
with Ross, and he's supposed to be like a kind of bumbling idiot spy kind of thing or something.
I think that's what it looked like. He's going to be some bumbling idiot. Yeah. He looked young to me. Like, he was moving around good. I was like, oh, here he's going to be old. But I don't know. He looked youthful. So I'm intrigued.
Yeah, it didn't look bad. It reminded me of like a Get Smart, maybe. Something like that.
Yeah, there you go. So,
could be kind of fun. And then what about Brave New World? That was the other one I thought was kind of worth talking about.
Opened up with some Black Mirror vibes for me, which hooked me. I was interested right away. So I'm intrigued to see where it goes.
Yeah, based on a famous novel, dystopian kind of future or whatever. But the cast sells me. Alden Ehrenreich, our young Solo. I like seeing him in another project. Hannah John Kamen, who was the Ghost in the Ant-Man films. She's in there. Kylie Bunbury is kind of an up-and-coming actress that I really like. She was in Game Night. She was in The Sitter, a couple other things. And then also Demi Moore is listed in the cast. So I don't know if she's like a main cast member or just popping in. But yeah, kind of fun. Looks cool. I think I might try that one out.
I like it, brother.
Yeah, that was it. So I guess maybe this summer we'll do the same thing, kind of like the Quibi Corner, and maybe check out, if Peacock gives us a free trial or whatever, and be able to check out some of these shows.
The Peacock.
Peacock House.
All right,
Peacock House.
You went there. All right, that wraps up Trailer Talk. Here we go, folks. Thanks to quarantine time, this What's in the Glass segment is hot and heavy. Here we go. And now it's time to tell everyone what's in the glass.
Yeah, I seem to be drinking a lot more these days because of the quarantine.
You're not alone. You're not alone there.
So I was able to try out a new beer that I've never had before called Hazy Jane. And this is brought to you by the Brewdog Brewery. Now, this is a microbrewery that started in Scotland. And they've actually moved some production house here. There's one based in Columbus, and you can actually stay. There's like a hotel and everything that you can stay on, and they have like beer fridges in the rooms and like a beer tap in your room. Like, it's really cool, like a beer hotel. Wow. So Brewdog is kind of cool. It's one of those cool breweries that's doing something interesting. So And I've had a couple of their beers, and I like their stuff so far. Everything I've had, I've enjoyed. And Hazy Jane is one of those. It's your very standard IPA, 5%er, like nothing special necessarily to talk about. A little low end, only 5% for me. Usually I like to go a little higher, but it had a really good taste to it. So yeah, I just think Brewdog in general are very cool, and I like what they're doing. So if you happen to see Brewdog out on your shelf, pick this one up. I've also had Elvis Juice in the past. That one's pretty good. So yeah.
Cool.
Search
Very
for
nice.
Brewdog on your shelves and give them a shot.
Very nice, very nice. All right, out of the what's in the glass and on to the casting couch.
Welcome to the Take Two Casting Couch. Sit back and get comfortable. Oh, yeah.
I've got two.
All right.
I got
What do you
two
got?
things.
Yeah, go ahead.
I got Anthony Michael Hall is going to be on Blacklist. Did we know that?
No, I didn't know that.
All right. Yeah.
What's Blacklist? What is that?
What's
Is that
Black?
is that the NBC show or something? Is that still on?
Yeah. And James Spader.
okay.
Yeah, James Spader's
Oh,
still on.
okay.
That's the only reason it stuck out.
For
to
some
me,
reason, I
because-
thought that was off. Yeah, I thought that show was done.
Wait, maybe this article's from 2017. I got it right after my Neil Brennan thing.
That's funny.
No, he's reuniting with his what was it, Pretty in Pink? They were in together, co-star.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's why it stuck out to me, because I got John Hughes on
Cool.
the brain. Anywho, the other one, Bruce Campbell and Michael Rooker have both been cast in the Twilight of the Mallrats that Kevin Smith is still finishing writing, which was intriguing because I was listening to Kevin Smith's podcast and he was saying how he's like 80% done writing it, but now they're already casting for it. Must be nice. It must be nice to have that pull, to have that already done in Hollywood.
Speaking of Rooker, though, side note, did you hear the funny story? I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. I missed it, but what's his name? James Gunn came out and like posted something on social media about how they were running out of toilet paper, and that they had to use these like novelty rolls of toilet paper they had with Michael Rooker's face on it.
What? Are you serious?
like they had it printed up as like for like a birthday celebration or something for him, or something like a gift for him, and it had like pictures of Rooker on the toilet paper, and they're like, we had to resort to using this because we were out of toilet paper.
That's good stuff.
Wiping our ass with Rooker's face. I thought that was funny.
Jeez.
All right, I saw a couple things.
Good.
Stellan Skarsgård has been cast in the Cassian Andor prequel series that we're getting for Disney Plus.
Nice.
So that should be interesting. I'm really looking forward to that show. I hope that they get that going once this quarantine is all up. And then the other thing I saw was Kelvin Harrison Jr., one of my favorite kind of up-and-coming actors from Loose and Waves last year. He had great performances there. He's been rumored to be joining the cast for Euphoria Season 2. There still hasn't been an official announcement, but he's been seen in cast photos and stuff that they've had on social media. They said the only problem is that if the quarantine continues on and delays production, like the way that they have to shoot, it may not work with scheduling between him and Zendaya. They both have like different things going on, and they may not officially be able to use his character, or maybe have to like go back and recast and reshoot some stuff. So I think that's why they haven't officially announced his role. So
Zendaya.
an interesting time we're in. Yeah,
Cool. Okay.
but that was it. That was all I saw for casting.
We're going to take another quick break, enjoy this music, and we will be back to start wrapping up the show. Speaking of Saved by the Bell, my daughter's hooked. Showed her a couple of episodes last week, and we have been plowing through watching the original Saved by the Bell series. Been
Nice,
like
yeah.
binging it. We're already on to season 4. The weird thing is, so NBC app has them all on there, but for the 4th season, remember they did the season, but then they threw in the beach season extra.
I love that one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was great, and I was looking forward to getting to it. For some reason, it does every other. It's like episode at school, episode at the beach, episode at school, episode at the beach. It's how it's playing.
What?
Yeah, and and Lucy keeps asking me, she's like, did they, I'm confused. And I said, yeah, I don't know why. This is totally because of the app. I was telling her, like, they did a school season, and then they did an entire season of the show at the beach, at this resort, and then they went back to school. And she's like, oh, well, that makes sense. Why is the app playing the episodes like this, like way out of order? It was really kind of weird. I will say this, man. I don't know how comfortable I am with my 12-year-old daughter watching the show. It's,
Oh, really?
like, Zach Morris is a freaking horn dog. The whole show is just... And also, this script, the new Saved by the Bell script is going to be totally different. Like, everything is just like, hey, mama, look at those legs, and just the way they talk to girls, and hey, why don't you just plant a kiss right here? Thanks, why don't you plant... And then a couple of hot nurses walk by when he had the surgery episode. And I was like, wow, wowzers. This would not get made today. It follows Saved by the Bell under that category.
Yeah. It's funny how stuff like that can be, I guess, considered problematic or whatever, but watching stuff through a 2020 lens and thinking back how stuff, just even watching The Office, that was only 15 years ago or less, and a lot of that stuff was kind of cringy. We've been rewatching that, and it's like a lot of gay jokes, a lot of things like that are just like totally inappropriate for today and doesn't hold up even that long ago. So yeah, I can imagine there's a lot of like sexist kind of stuff going on in that show. So
and
intriguing.
And she keeps that. She's like, Jesse's like kind of like a prude. She's like so nerdy or whatever. I was like, don't worry. After Saved by the Bell, she becomes a stripper. It's fine. Anyway.
Follow up Saved by the Bell with Showgirls. Right when it's over, put Showgirls in. There you go.
I'm waiting for if she asks that, like when we're done. She's like, so what did all these actors do after this? Nothing. They're done. That's it.
Yep.
College years. And I was like, all right, so let's get back with our Hollywood news.
In the news. Yeah. I wanted to start off with the rest in peace for the week. Brian Dennehy, 81 years old, in natural causes, luckily, not tied to coronavirus that I saw. So,
Correct.
But just wanted to mention it. He's a pretty iconic actor, I think, of the 80s and 90s. First Blood, I remember him in, Silverado, and of course Tommy Boy.
Yeah.
So, kind of a big iconic actor. Never won an Oscar. He was a Tony winner. He was an Emmy nominee. Never won an Oscar, though, so that kind of sucks. Maybe he'll get one of those Lifetime Achievement things.
That'd be cool. Echo all the words that you just said.
Yeah. And then I kind of feel bad because we missed one. I think this hit when the week that we were off and Roy did the show, but I just wanted to mention this. Adam Schlesinger died, and this was from coronavirus. He was only 52 years old, but he's an Emmy, Grammy award-winning songwriter. He's the founder of Fountains of Wayne, so like Stacey's mom.
Yeah.
But he also did a lot. Yeah, he also did a lot in the entertainment world because he was the writer and won the original song Oscar for the song from That Thing You Do. So
right, that's right.
Pretty big. Yeah, pretty big there. He also worked with Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, that show, and earned 5 Emmy nominations there for writing music on that series. So a musician. We don't really talk about necessarily musicians as much on the show, but since he had some Hollywood ties and that's pretty tragic. Young guy, 52, and pretty well known to our generation. So just wanted to give him a mention as well.
Very nice.
What did you have, sir?
I'll stick with deaths, and one of them is Shakespeare in the Park. First time it has been canceled in well over 50 plus years in Central Park. They're not having Shakespeare in the Park this spring, summertime because of Corona stuff. And then the other big one, this dropped like right after we were done last week, right? Is San Diego?
Maybe like a day or two, yeah.
Okay, because I wrote it down and I was like, how long ago did we... But we didn't mention it. But San Diego Comic-Con has officially been canceled.
Yeah, that sucks. Usually that takes place in July, but I get it. They probably need to get the logistics going and get people's schedules locked in and all that. And I know California especially is on a little bit tighter lockdown than some other areas. So it makes sense. It sucks, but, they'll be back next year. I did see somebody... Was it you that shared that tweet with, like... Marvel needs to do like a virtual Hall H, and that would be really cool if they just set something up like that. So.
You took the actual words out of my mouth. Yeah, I thought that was a brilliant idea. Whoever swoops in on that one, Marvel, DC, whatever, just do the virtual thing and where you make your announcements. That'd be wild.
Yeah. Anything else for you?
Oh, I got a couple of things here. We got The Mandalorian revealing on May the 4th is dropping a new 9-part documentary series on Disney Plus, all inside, behind-the-scenes look at the making of The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And May the 4th is a Monday or Tuesday, I believe. So
Monday.
Then they're gonna release the new episodes after that on Friday. So I think we will get like 2 episodes that first week, and that's actually the same day as this Clone Wars new season ends. You know, they set it up to end on May the 4th, and then start the Mandalorian on May the 4th. So smart move by them, keeping their Star Wars content rolling, keeping us fans happy. You know, and it'll help stave off the wait until the new season for sure.
Segueing with Star Wars to J.J. Abrams has a HBO Max deal to do 3 different series. One of them, Justice League Dark. The other one, a show called Overlook. And the last one, a show called Duster.
Yeah, Overlook I'm hugely intrigued by because it's a Shining-inspired, series similar to Castle Rock, I think is what they're going to do, and focus on the hotel itself, so that could be cool. Duster, it said it was like a 70s getaway driver in a drug cartel kind of thing, so that could be fun. And then of course Justice League Dark, what do you think? Speculation on who's going to be in there. I think 2 names popped to mind automatically.
When I first saw it, I thought this has got to be animated. This because they've been trying to get this off the ground for years, but no, it's going to be legit live action. Who did you think immediately?
Well, I mean Constantine, Swamp Thing. I don't think you can do the series without those 2 characters.
Oh, yeah, of course. I'm sorry. I thought you meant casting-wise. I was totally misreading it. Yes.
No.
100%.
But then that leads to, wonder, are they going to try and just bring those characters over that DC's already established? Or are we casting new? They could just use the Constantine we already have on the shows. I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, whatever that Swamp Thing was that bombed and got canceled after 4 whatever. Can swing that over. Sure. I don't know. Intriguing. Very intriguing. And then the Duster, that's a thing that takes place like in the like in Arizona, like Southwest area type deal. Looked intriguing. And all of these are series, folks. None of them are movies.
Yep.
Disney Plus.
All right,
back to that. I got 2 more and then I'm all done. Disney Plus. Artemis Fowl is supposed to be May 29th. They moved that to June 12th.
Yep. Official release date. I think we're going to watch it at home. Why not?
Sure. No interest at the theater, but since it's at home, we'll check it out. And then the last thing, this is happening now, folks, but you'll be able to check it out, is that a movie called 420 is being released today on 420 on Vimeo. So by the time you guys hear this, you'll be able to jump on. You'll be a day late, but turn on your Vimeo or Vimeo, however you say it, and you can watch the movie 420.
Cool. I was going to ask you earlier, but I know you're not huge into the the stoner cinema. But what is your go-to watch? If you were like going to watch something today because of 420, what's your go-to?
Half Baked.
I got a couple. Half Baked.
Yeah.
Half Baked's a good one.
Okay.
I also like Dazed and Confused, but I don't feel like they really show the drug use or whatever in the movie. But I feel like it's kind of just implied a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I like that one. Or Friday. Friday's always a good go-to for me. I love Friday.
Sold.
And that has a fantastic soundtrack. I was actually listening to some of the Friday soundtrack last week.
No kidding.
So, love that soundtrack.
I like it.
All right. You had basically everything I had in my notes, except for one other thing I saw. Universal is going to attempt Green Hornet and Kato. They're going to try and do this movie again. It was done in the mid 2000s with Seth Rogen, and it wasn't a very big hit. So, yeah, interesting that they're going to go back to the well on that and try that again. I wonder if this would work better as like a series instead. But
probably,
we'll see.
Probably,
yeah, but we'll see. Maybe they're going to try and do a big budget, action movie again, and it'll probably fail. But honestly, I had nothing else in my notes but that. I think you've covered everything else I have.
Well, in that case, we're done with the Hollywood news and wrapping and going right into DC discussion.
And now we discuss DC.
They were chatting with John Cryer about wrapping up Supergirl, and he said he knows that they filmed the majority of the ending of the season, but definitely did not get all of it, so therefore they're going to rewrite what happens to Lex Luthor in the end. The final 3 episodes are supposed to be this big arc of Lex Luthor versus Supergirl versus Leviathan, but he knows it's being rewritten, so he's not sure how things end up for Lex Luthor in this season of Supergirl. It's interesting how they might just kind of have to write that off, he's done. He fell down an elevator.
Well, yeah, or like I said, the I think it was Flash was talking about moving almost like a part 1, part 2, something like that. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Because I want to say I also read that Stargirl got delayed their release date, right?
Oh, you know what? You're right. That's interesting too. That's a bummer. We were looking forward to that show. Or still am.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think it's like a huge push, but I think they just moved it around like a couple months or a couple weeks or something because of the other shows and, you know, which ones are delayed and which ones aren't, all that stuff. I think they just moved the release date of that. Just like I said, for CW to space out some stuff.
Yeah. Jeez. Interesting.
So I think it looks like it's still May 19th.
Huh.
I don't know. I don't know if that was what it was originally or not, but May 19th is what it says.
We'll get back
hitting
to you
the
guys on
DC
that
Universe
one.
app first. So if you have the DC Universe app, you'll see it a day early.
I do. Woohoo. All right.
So there you go. Yeah.
Aronofsky back in the day had a Batman Year One film he was trying to get launched, and it just never got legs. And apparently, a big reason for that was he wanted Joaquin Phoenix to play Batman in his film, the Batman Year One. And Batman Year One is a very gritty book, very dark kind of book. So Joaquin works. Apparently, the studio came back, and this is crazy that we're mentioning this actor twice in one episode, and they wanted Freddie Prinze Jr. at the time to play it.
Oh, Jesus. What? And
so apparently that's what Aronofsky said. He went right back to him and said, we're making different movies. Freddie Prinze won't work in the type of... And that's kind of what got it scrubbed.
Which is crazy, because I would like to see that. I'd like to see that Joaquin Batman. That sounds interesting.
So. 100%.
Especially now and in light of Joker, So
Yeah, big time. Apparently, Wonder Woman 84, when it comes out, the one thing that we do know is that it does keep the BVS movie, Batman v Superman, in canon. Like, it does still adhere to that. But the interesting part of the article, it did not keep Justice League canon into the timeline.
Because of fucking Ezra Miller.
yeah, that too.
Which sucks, man. I was thinking about that. We just did that whole thing where we introduced that into Crisis and how cool that was.
Yeah, that's right. That was arguably the best gambit. Keep your hands to yourself, buddy. The last two things I have are rumor or whatever. Alicia Silverstone came out again and once again stated how she wants to give Batgirl another shot. She did this like 2 years ago when they were doing all these recastings for DCEU. I think it was a no then, and it's still no today, Alicia, unless they go Oracle, where she's older and she's in the wheelchair. Like, I don't know, Alicia, she's just too old to play Batgirl at this point.
Yeah, that could be cool. Actually, I wouldn't mind that.
The last thing I have is there's a bunch of fan art right now. I'm sure you see some of it all the time, but one thing caught the eye of a couple of brass members in the DCEU or whatever, and they commented. Someone did Timothée Chalamet as Robin.
Okay, I could definitely see that.
Same.
I think the inherent problem, at least for me, is Robin sucks as a character. Sucks, and I don't want to see a lot. Like, he works okay in the animated films and stuff. I don't mind him. But I just don't really love them in the live-action versions. Maybe a little bit in Titans. They sold me a little bit on it. Their take was cool. I think it works. But so far, because I was rewatching Dark Knight Rises the other day, and I was like, I really like Joseph Gordon-Levitt in this movie, but I'm so glad they never got him in the costume and went that Robin route, because it would have ruined it.
You should use your real name. It's nice. Robin.
It's Robin, yeah. Ugh. Just cheesed it up, right? Totally cheesed it up. What was Nolan thinking?
If anybody has an argument whether Robin's character sucks or not, just remember, folks, that DC Comics put it to a vote whether the Joker should kill Robin or not. And it was like an overwhelming, 82% everyone voted. And this was back in the day when you had to mail in your letters, if you remember when they did this. And when the Joker killed Jason Todd, everyone wanted him dead. So I don't see anybody arguing against you. You'd have to do some things with the character to make it a little more interesting. I do agree. I did like him a little more when he became Nightwing, but even still. It just wasn't... Sure. I never ran out and bought a Nightwing book. But.
No, nobody did.
Done with DC. Headed to the Marvel Minute.
And now, your Marvel Minute.
Anything?
No, I like this. I'm just sitting back and letting you talk because I honestly have nothing.
You have one. I know you have one. You have one, and that was the big news, and that was that Sam Raimi, he confirmed what we already knew, and that he is directing Doctor Strange Part 2.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I kind of thought that was already confirmed, so I guess that's why I just scrolled past it. But I know there was a lot of speculation online. They're like, "Ooh, does this mean that we're going to get Toby back?" Whatever. It would be kind of fun, I guess, if they did that. But as long as he's not dancing around, emo Toby.
Segueing perfectly to, there was a Sinister Six movie absolutely in the works. Drew Goddard was supposed to direct it, and he came out and said that, yes, we were doing this. And then the Amazing Spider-Man series, Garfield became a ding-dong about money and whatever and walked away, and they stopped the whole thing. So then they stopped doing the Sinister Six series. Which was a bummer. That was the only part of it that I liked.
Yeah, it's funny because watching that Stranger with Dane DeHaan, I was like, Dane DeHaan's not a bad actor. He can sell this kind of creepy whatever, but just whatever. That movie was an abomination.
Agreed all around. Marvel is done. It is time to go forward.
Going forward.
All right, so I'll start talking again here because I have a lot of stuff for going forward this week.
Holy moly.
Maybe I've just been scouring the internet trying to find stuff for you guys to watch. So I want to let you know about what's out there. Some of this may be kind of all over the place, so let me make sure I'm telling you the dates and the channels as I go. Starting today, as we're recording on 4/20, the Better Call Saul Season 5 finale is tonight. So if you're into that show is ending tonight, as well as the Plot Against America. So I'm hoping to finish up that series and maybe give you my final thoughts next week. Let's see. This week as well, Tuesday, Empire series finale.
Ooh,
so that show will be ending, yeah. We're also getting a Grammy special tribute to Prince on the 21st. So that'll be on TV this week.
Oh.
Little Fires Everywhere. Little Fires Everywhere has been kind of a little bit of a hit for Hulu. I've seen a lot of people talking about it online. And that ends up its season this week. So if you've been into that, check that out.
Okay.
Superstore and Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Will and Grace all have their finales this week. Will and Grace will actually be a series finale. They said they're done with the whole revival as well, so that is over this week.
Gotcha.
Afterlife Season 2 coming to Netflix this week. If you were into that, that's a Ricky Gervais show, so that's coming back for another season.
I heard he's amazing in that. I'm sorry to cut you, but I heard he's really great.
No. Yeah, I've never given it a shot. I've heard people liked it, and he was good in it, and I like him. Did you see his whole thing where he's doing, like, making fun of other celebrities online for being like, oh, woe is me because I'm trapped in my house?
I saw him destroy Ellen, and that's what then made me watch Ellen do her thing, and then I heard again about Ellen later. But anyway, yes, I love him. He's fantastic. Gervais is great.
It's like watching another Golden Globes monologue over again. Also on the 24th on Netflix, we're getting that new Extraction, the Hemsworth movie. So I think we'll probably both get a chance to check that out this week, and that may be a review for next week, right?
True.
The 23rd this week, we're getting the NFL Draft, which is going to be weird because no one's going to be there.
Highest rated draft, I predict. This will be the highest rated, most watched draft of all time.
Probably. Defending Jacob, the series with Chris Evans, is coming to Apple Plus. That's going to be this weekend as well on the 24th.
Beautiful.
Homeland series finale on the 26th. I am going to try to give the review of that if I have time to watch it, but that's Sunday night. I don't know if I'm going to catch it. So I may have to push off my review for a week. But that's coming, and I am watching that, so I will have a review coming forth. Penny Dreadful is also coming back with its kind of sequel series called City of Angels on Showtime. This looks intriguing by the trailer, and I watched the first season of Penny Dreadful. I liked it. I just never finished up the series, but this looks like a different take on it, and it looks like it's set in 20s or 30s LA, kind of crime noir kind of thing they're going for. It looks kind of interesting, so I may have to check that out and give it a shot. Also on Netflix this week, the 21st, is Middleditch and Schwartz. They're coming out with a comedy special. Have you seen the trailer-ish for this?
Negative. Mm-mm.
This looks really cool to me. I like both of these guys. Middleditch, he was on like Silicon Valley, and then Ben Schwartz, of course, has been all over the place, Parks and Rec, things like that. They did a tour last year. I was actually on the fence about buying tickets and go and see them. I think they're both really funny. They toured the country, and they do this. Basically, it's an improv special. So they'll set up and have people from the crowd like give them setups, and then they just work through it and do comedy. And every show is different then, basically. So they're presenting it on Netflix as 3 separate episodes, and I think it's from a couple different dates on their tour and just showing how different the shows were and the different ways that they did the improv. So I thought that was kind of fun and different. So kind of stand-up comedy-ish, but not really. So that's another one I think I'm going to look forward to watching and maybe reviewing next week.
Cool.
The Willoughbys is coming on the 22nd to Netflix. This is their new animated film. I think it looks pretty good. We talked about it a few weeks ago in the trailer section, and I think that's something to watch with the kids this week while we're all home.
There you go. Nice.
The Beastie Boys movie is coming to Apple Plus. This premiered back in Sundance Very limited theatrical run there, I think, before everything closed up. But it's going to be on Apple Plus. It's a documentary about the Beastie Boys. So I'm looking forward to that. Still do not have Apple Plus, though. So maybe this week is the week to get it with Defending Jacob and the Beastie Boys movie. I don't know.
Agreed.
Sounds intriguing. Bad Education is hitting HBO on the 25th. I think we're both in on that, the Hugh Jackman movie. So maybe that's another one we can get to review for next week if we can get to it.
Sure. What's that on again? What's Hugh's thing on?
That's HBO. It's an HBO movie.
HBO. Gotcha.
Yeah. And then lastly, Idol. American Idol is going to attempt to come back this week on the 26th. They have 20 finalists. They basically got through all the pre-recorded stuff that they do, and they were supposed to get to their live shows. But now with the quarantine and all this stuff happening, they didn't know what to do, so they took a couple weeks off. They're coming back, and they're trying to do it as remote video. The judges will be remote, and the people will be remote, singing.
No
So
kidding.
that might be interesting to see how they pull that off, or maybe don't pull it off. So
Yeah. Jeez.
thought that was worth noting as well. But yeah, pretty packed going forward for this week. Lots of good entertainment coming. Like I said, maybe a few of those will get reviewed next week as well.
I like it a lot. For Take Two Podcast, what we've got going forward, folks, is you will get a brand new Patreon episode dropped this Friday. That is the part 2 of our Best TV Theme Song series. This is going to cover your 80s and 90s. And there's a lot of singing in this episode, guys. I'm not going to lie. There's a lot of very
Is it not well?
No, it's great. I mean, who sings a TV theme song bad? That's it's karaoke level. We're amazing. We're great. And the only way you guys can know that is if you sign on to our Patreon, patreon.com, Take Two Podcast, as low as $1 a month. That also reminds you folks, Take Two gives back. Listen, every brand new subscriber we get between now and Mother's Day, May 10th, we are going to match that. Whichever you sign up for, we're going to match that amount. We're going to add it to, we're taking all the money that we've earned from you guys in April, and we're going to donate it all to charity. So if you are on the fence about joining on to our Patreon, A, you're going to get some really great content. B, you're going to get some cool merchandise and some exclusive stuff. And right now, C, whatever you sign up for, we're going to match. And that's going to go straight to charity to help somebody out in this time of crisis in our country. After that, you've got The Realm of Take Two that returns this weekend. That'll be out on Sunday. Roy will be back with The Realm. But during the weekend, while you're watching things and listening to things and what have you, guess what's coming back? Our polls. And you guys get to jump on them. The polls are back. Check our socials. At Take Two Podcast is Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We will have the polls for you guys to vote, share, retweet, etc. And they are back. We had the March Madness. We took a little time off after March Madness, and now they're back, baby. So we hope that you guys interact with all of our socials. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's the key word for this week upcoming is socials. Check out all of our socials, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff, because we're going to be putting up more information about our Take Two Gives Back, giving you some links and things like that to follow up on, and as well as, like we said, the poll. We're going to be doing that on Thursday nights. If you're a new listener and you don't know, usually Thursday nights we post that poll, we leave it up through the weekend, then we talk about it on the following week's show. So I'm excited to bring it back, especially since we have no box office and things like that to talk about. So yeah, bring back the poll, baby.
For episode 184. Have a great night, everybody.
That's it. See ya.